Hello, Gavin here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're looking at my top 5 pedals. So this is something I've been asked for on many occasions, and the reason I haven't made it up until now is it's really hard to pick. It's really hard to pick just 5 pedals. I've got a lot of pedals, as you can likely see behind me, and there's a lot on the pedal board at my feet as well. And there's so many of them that I use really every day that it's really hard to narrow it down to 5. But I've finally decided to do just that. So this is not a top 5 pedals of 2021 or pedals released in 2021. This is just my top 5 pedals at this moment in time. I've labelled it the 2021 edition in the title, just so that it's time-stamped as being at this point in time. I might do another one in the future when things change, because no doubt I will find other pedals that I really enjoy using as well. So right now these are my top 5 pedals, and I chose them based on the criteria that they're 5 of the pedals I seem to use the most. There are of course other pedals that I do use maybe even just as much as these, so I'll probably include them as like a notable choices or something at the end of this video. But before I get into the top 5, I need to clarify some things. 1, none of these pedals were provided by the companies. I bought all of these pedals with my own money, and I'm only including them today because I really enjoy using them. There is no sponsorship, there's no paid promotion, it's just my personal opinions here. And the pedals are in no particular order. This is not a ranked top 5, it's just 5 of my favourites. So let's get stuck into the list now. So first up is the Bad Penny Effects Customshop Fuzz. Now this is a pedal they built for me as a Customshop version of their wireless germanium fuzz, which on its own is a really cool pedal. And I have a few Bad Penny pedals and they're all really awesome. This one though is a bass version, so this is a Customshop bass version of the pedal, and as part of that modification what they've done is include a clean signal, so a clean signal that runs in parallel with the fuzz. So with that I can have a parallel blend of the clean and the fuzz, but there's also a boost control, so I can boost the clean signal as well. So I can do a lot more than just balance the two. I can actually increase the boost, I can actually increase the clean level as well as just blending it in. And as well as that, on the clean signal there is an effects loop, so I can include effects only on the clean side and leave the fuzz completely dry, which is really fun. I've had a lot of fun uses for that in my music. And I've actually done a full demo about this pedal already on this channel, so I'm going to link to that in the description below. But within that video I found what I felt was my favourite sound from this pedal, and I really loved the way it sat in the mix on the track, and I just loved it. So I'm going to include one of those sounds now. It's actually taken from the original demo. I'm just going to include a clip of that into this video now. So let's listen to that clip now. Next up we've got the Boss OC2. Yes, this is a pedal from the 80s that warrants being in today's list. And with good reason. It's an Octave pedal that so many bass players love. Yannick Gwizdala, Tim LaFave, John Davis, really any bass player that's worked with Jojo Mayer and his band Nerve, they all gravitate towards this Octaver. You've also likely heard classic recordings from bass players like Pino Palladino, Guy Pratt. I think even Tony Levin maybe used this pedal with Peter Gabriel. Could be wrong on that though, but it definitely sounds like an OC2. This is an octave pedal that has been on many recordings, and it sounds amazing on the bass. It doesn't track very well. In fact, below maybe a B flat, it starts to glitch out. But that's part of the charm of it. It's one of these old school monophonic octave pedals. Chords are not an option. Don't even try them. It just sounds rough. But the glitchiness and the grit of this pedal is perfect. And there's a sound that bass players gravitate towards with this. It's known as the JoJo Mayer setting. And that's turning the -1 octave all the way up, turning the -2 octave all the way down, and then turning the clean signal all the way off. And a little tip for anyone using a Boss OC2 or a similar style octave pedal, use the higher register on the bass. Don't play in the low frets. The register on the instrument really tweaks how this bass sounds. So play from about the 7th fret upwards on the bass guitar. It's going to sound awesome. That's the perfect range for this bass. So I'm going to actually do that in this next clip. So let's have a listen to that now, using the JoJo Mayer setting. And next up, we've got another octave pedal. This time it's the Gojira Effects Octave Generator. Do not confuse this with the Boss OC2 like I did originally, because it's actually based on a different style of octave circuit. And for me personally, I think it's a lot smoother. It's a much smoother style of octave. It's still monophonic, so still chords are not an option, but it comes with a few extra possibilities with this pedal. The main one being that it has an octave up built in. Still monophonic, but it gives you an octave up as well as the -1 and -2 octaves, and of course the clean signal. And you have a volume control for all 4 circuits, so you can get a perfect blend of all 4 of them. Now for me, this is actually, in a lot of instances, I hate to say it because it seems kind of wrong, but it's my preferred octave pedal. In many situations, I favour this over the OC2, because the OC2 is known for being a great synth bass tool, as you likely heard in the last clip. But with adding in that octave up on the Gojira Octaver, you get even more awesomeness for synth bass. It's just perfect for synth sounds because of that octave up. With fuzz pedals, great combination, but even on its own it gets great synth tones. So we're actually away to listen to that in the next clip. I'm going to use a blend of the -1 and the +1, still no -2 because I don't always find a great use for that in my sounds, but those two combined on a bass sound incredible, and I'll have the clean signal blended in a little bit as well. So let's check that out now. Next up, we're going for another pedal that's already had a demo on this channel, and that's the 1991 from Funny Little Boxes. For those of you that don't know, Funny Little Boxes is a shop. It's an online store selling pedals, and their great premise, which I think's great in this day and age, is they're all £100 or less. So it's going to be used pedals, B-stock, and some awesome new deals as well. But recently they stepped out into the original design market and designed a pretty amazing pedal right off the bat. That being the 1991, which is built to emulate the guitar sounds from the iconic album 10 by Pearl Jam. And it does an amazing job of this. What it does also do is roll off a lot of bottom end, which on face value for bass you might think, not good, and avoid it. But don't do that. Don't dismiss this pedal, because it has some amazing uses on bass. I actually did a video all about these, which I'll link down in the description below. But one of those sounds that I totally fell in love with and have used on many occasions on session work and on my own music since is a biamp rig, where you have a totally clean bass, well, preamp in my case, or bass amp, and then you also have the distorted preamp. So it's actually your signal split in two. You've got all the bass thickness from one amp, and you have all the mids and treble with the distortion on a separate one. And when you blend the two together with a drive on the high end and a totally clean bottom end, it sounds huge, and it's a really awesome bass tone. A lot of bass players do this, and this pedal works perfectly for doing that. So I'm going to include a clip of that now, so let's check that out. And last but certainly not least is the Scran from Soundlad Liverpool. So I've actually not had this pedal for very long, only maybe a month or two at the day of filming this. And I can already tell this is going to be a pedal that is going to live on my board for a long time. This is not a tube screamer, this is not a clone, this is a totally unique style of overdrive that really is impossible to categorise. 6 controls that have labels like toast, HP, beans. It's just impossible to even guess what some of these mean. And that's a great thing, because this pedal, you really have to just change knobs, tweak settings, and see what happens. And I love pedals that do that. It reminds me of using the modular synth, because that, even if you try to guess what it's going to do, it's likely going to be completely different. And I think that's a great thing for creativity. I will be doing a full demo of this pedal in 2022, so just into the new year. But until then, I'm going to include a clip in this video of one of my current favourite settings. So we're going to include that as the outro clip of today's video. But before we do that, I just want to wrap this up and include a few honourable mentions, because there are a lot of pedals that could have made this list as well. Deliberately tried to keep it just one from each brand and keep it to just things that are currently on my board, but there's so much other stuff on there that I couldn't not mention these pedals. But there's so many other pedals that I use almost daily that I have to include some of these as honourable mentions. The first one being pretty much everything Gojira effects I own. The Sub-Dark Fuzz, the Mr. Sparkle Drive with the bass boost, and the Mangler. They're all awesome pedals and definitely deserve spots on this list, but I just can't include everything. As well as that, there is the Little Box from Bad Penny Effects and the Deluxe Drive. Both of those are awesome pedals as well. I've got some great stuff from Calavera Effects, Xander Circuitry, the bass preamp, I think it's the Sono. Sono, don't know why I couldn't remember that there, but that's an awesome pedal as well. Definitely deserving of being on a pedal board, because it's an epic pedal. And there's some awesome stuff as well from like Raygun Effects and Demiurge Effects that I'll definitely be looking more into those as well in 2022. So I highly recommend go and check all these pedals out and go and see if you can try some out as well, because they are all honestly awesome tones, and on bass I think they're all great pedals. But these are of course my opinions. I'd love to hear what you think. So let me know in the comments what your favourite sounds were. If you're using any of these pedals, let me know what your favourite settings are. And if you've got any other pedals you think I should check out, because I'm always looking for new ideas. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit like and subscribe down below, clicking the bell icon to be notified of more content when it comes out. And until next time, keep working on those bass faces.